This Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word in truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video, and it's going to be a quick one. All right, my space is almost full, and I'm trying to figure out how to get more space because I need everything that I got downloaded. But pretty much what I'm gonna go into, as you just heard the scripture, Habakkuk 2 and 16, shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right, because at one point in time, Babylon was, everybody wanted to come here. This place was, like this Jake from Nigeria told me, the land of opportunities, the land of, pretty much where your dreams come true. You can come over here, which for a time, these heathens were able to do that because the dollar is worth more in their currency. But the dollar is crashing. Okay, the dollar is crashing. And them files came out over 3 million, I believe it's documents and videos and all that, man. And people going through it and, hey, I'm seeing accounts on X that's based in China that's saying, you're pretty much calling out the U.S., saying your president is a PDF, So it's all coming out, man. It's all coming out, and, people can clearly see that, this is blackmail against Trump, all right? And the stuff that's coming out, you even got BB in the files, Like, it's a whole lot, man. And, war is inevitable at this point because it's too much coming out on this devil. I'm going to read this again. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Right. So the glory that Babylon once had is turning into shame. Okay. These pictures and these videos coming out, man, of all these people that was, hanging out. And he, Elp, which I believe he's still alive. Okay. But Elp, I'm going to call him Elp. I'm talking about J. Elp. Okay. He was with everybody, man. They say he was with the Pope and he was with BB and, Jay-Z is all in the file. So, hey, Jay-Z done. These sellouts, they being brought low, man. All right, everybody is being exposed. And the brother Dawada put this in the chat. I got to bring this out. Because Yahweh Shai said this. This is Luke chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So everything is coming to light. Okay, with the whole J Up situation. Okay, and you got, like I said, you got Jay-Z, which brother's been prophesying his downfall, saying that he's gonna go down. Okay. And the president, okay, is saying that pretty much he raped a 13-year-old girl, man. So, hey, man, this place is done. All right, and it's all coming out. But this is a part of how, the Satanists, these elites, okay, because, this is Satan's world. This is a part of how pretty much they got to do things. They got to tell you or show you so that I forget how it goes. I never looked into it. It's just, pretty much I'm just regurgitating what I've heard people say, concerning these satanic cults. Pretty much they got to show you what they do, and they show it in movies and stuff. Okay, but they got to show you so that way they're not guilty or something like that. That's coming out that, J Up Island is where they got the Nickelodeon logo from as well. So everything is coming out, man. All right, Esau is done. It says, finishing this off, drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on our glory. So, now the whole world, okay, is beginning to see, like, man, these people, we thought they was, a great nation. We pretty much everybody is separating themselves from the West, okay, and they're throwing fuel on the fire. Okay, I'm seeing these Chinese accounts based in Beijing, putting up, a lot of stuff concerning this situation. Okay, and then people are saying, guess who wasn't in the J Up files, and they're showing the supreme leader of Iran and Kim Jong-un and Putin and Xi Jinping. Okay, which they're still, it's still a world stage, but shameful spewing is becoming on this place. Let me grab this in Isaiah 47. This Isaiah chapter 47. Should I start at the top? Yeah, I'm going to start at the top. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. This is referring to America. Okay, it says, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate right. This place was, at one point in time, it was the cream of the crop. Okay, it was the golden city, man. It was, everybody wanted to do business, wanted to cooperate, wanted to, trade with America, man. At one point in time, it says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen, and that's what we're seeing. Okay, everything's being uncovered, man. Okay, and the shame of this place is being seen. And you can't, no longer point the finger at Jake, man. Like the whole Diddy situation, they try to make it seem like, Diddy, pretty much he was, Jake be on that shit. Which Jake, these wicked niggas do, but where do they get it from? They get it from Esau, man. Okay, and I see them, possibly putting Jay-Z in the forefront, to try to hide, the crimes of Esau, because that's what Esau does. Okay, he'll throw Jake under the bus to try to cover his ass. But it's too much out, man. It's all out. So your shame is being seen. It says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. Right, because Yahweh Shai, he's not coming to meet you in a diplomatic fashion, to negotiate. No, man, he's coming to conquer, man. Okay, he's the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay, you read Revelation in 6th chapter, it speaks about that white horse that went forth conquering and to conquer. That's Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. Verse 4, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. All right, so this place is being brought low, man. It's being brought down. Okay. And it's actually a really good chapter. I would continue grabbing some verses, but because I'm limited on space, I don't want this video not to save. That's all I'm gonna get on that. Let me jump to Obadiah. That'll be this video. This is Obadiah I start at verse 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock. This whole chapter is going in on Esau Edom, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Because these Edomites, they really think they're not going to go down. They think they're going to rule forever. That's why the situation in, with Iran right now, okay, you got the Strait of Hormuz and, what is it, the Gulf of Oman. Pretty much, it's a lot of tension in that region right now, man. Okay, and China has sent a bunch of, planes where they turned off their detectors, and they just constantly was loading up Iran, man. Okay, you got Russia loading them up, and Iran is saying they ready for all-out war. They're saying if the U.S. hits them, it's going to be treated as all-out war, and they're going to hit all U.S. bases in the region. It's going to turn into a regional war. And they questioned Trump about that because the Supreme Leader, I believe it was the Supreme Leader that said that, and they asked Trump about that, and pretty much Trump, he knows what's about to happen. And that's what he get, man. His proud ass said like a few months ago, talking about, yeah, they've been saying for years that World War III was starting in the Middle East. I stopped it. You ain't stopped shit, nigga. And this report's coming out that them tiny tots might go ahead and do a preemptive strike to drag you in. And we've been constantly bringing that scripture out, the least of the flock shall draw thee out and make his habitation desolate with thee. We know them tiny tots is what's dragging Babylon into this war. And right now, the tiny tots is bombing Lebanon. So we gonna see, man. Reports came out they assassinated somebody in Hezbollah, a top commander, something like that. Yesterday they did that yesterday. So it's a lot going on, man. Okay, but these devils think who gonna bring them down to the ground. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, Esau, he exalts himself. Okay, and he has satellites, ISS, different space stations. Thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. So the Lord is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is the one that's going to bring you down. You say in your heart, who going to bring you down? The Lord is orchestrating your downfall by having these other nations click up, okay, and form military alliances. Okay, and they're showing you like they're going to fight for Iran, man. Okay, China and Russia, they might didn't do nothing with the whole Venezuela situation, but that pretty much let them know, like, nah, if we don't go to war for Iran, which is their ally and a major business partner, then the U.S. will topple it, and they will be cut off from oil, and Russia won't be able to really, evade sanctions, man. So they're gonna fight. Okay. Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Right. So everything is coming out. Okay, it's all coming out on you devils, man. And this just shows that we in the end, like, it ain't no going back. Even if they, because they have been trying to delete certain stuff, but people has already, screenshotted, screen recorded, it's all coming out. It's all coming out. So this place is done. All right. But with that, I'm going to say shalom.